Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are no longer Cinema Ministry.
I forgot
Choice has
something.
been made.
I know I forgot something.
We are your Comrades of Cinema, here to discuss the movies that define who we are as people, as friends, trying to get to know each other a little bit better. Changing the name has thrown me off. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. But yeah, we've changed our name. It's official. We are moving on and moving on to bigger and better things. For those of you who joined us last week, you will know that for our usual media mashup segment, this time, instead of just talking about whatever we watched on our own free will, we are discussing projects assigned to us by other members of the podcast here. Um, I can go ahead and start it off because I was recommended a YouTube series called The Great Potato War by Technoblade. I didn't know what to expect, and I will admit I carry a certain degree of, like, whenever I'm watching something, I have no idea like what it is or who it is. I despite my best efforts, I go in with like a okay, whatever this is, we'll check it out. This was so much fun. I love watching someone descend into madness over something so insignificant. Brennan, this series is about, is it all Skyblock?
Is it the, is
Or is
that
it
is
just
that is
online?
it just that one 18-minute video that comes up?
There's three.
Three. So basically, a guy is trying to set the Minecraft record for most potatoes farmed. And to do that, he is like spying on the guy who currently has first place, employing terms like ways to sabotage his potato count while also boosting his own, farming for like and trading money because it's like online, not like the regular stuff we played. There's like communities where you can go to auction and purchase stuff and everything. It goes in deep. And the way he meticulously plans out everything, and he'll be like, and at this point he messed up my plan, so it took me 4 hours to restart the system and get it back working. And it's like, this is insane.
Send me the link of the playlist you watched. I'll check that out.
The playlist I found is cool because it also has the guy Technoblade's perspective as he goes through and takes the crown, and it also has the guy who held the crown, his perspective as he realizes what's happening.
Is it the I'm a Squid Kid?
Yeah.
6 videos?
Yes.
Okay, I'll check that out.
And it's extra cool because that guy, I'm a Squid Kid, didn't have many followers or subscribers when it started. And Technoblade is like a top 4 Minecraft YouTuber, probably ever.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden he's like, why is this guy in my fucking world? Why is he just camped out? And it's awesome. It's so much fun.
That's awesome. I'll check it out.
I watch that series, I'd say every like 6 months. There's always something new I find that, and even like it kind of launched like, do you know who Tommy Innit is?
Yes.
So Tommy Innit was one of the guys Technoblade employed to sabotage I'm a Squid Kid.
Really? So that's how he got started?
Yes. And
interesting.
Just the dominoes of this war is insane.
You love when you see these video games like this, these open world video games where people have their own storylines and whatnot. It's always so interesting. Whether it's Minecraft or there's another game called, like, I think it was Space Station 11 or something like that. Or Space Station, I forget what it was called, but no, I love it.
One of my favorite running gags throughout all of the episodes is that Technoblade will say something in like episode 1 or 2, and then reveal in the 3rd episode that he was lying. just
because he knew that he would see it at some point and be like, and I wanted you to have this info.
Yep.
Crazy.
Just the ending is perfect. No notes. Just
The only note I had was so obviously Technoblade has since passed, and Squid Kid does not hold the record, and I wish he did. I wish he took it back.
Yeah,
because that feels like what Technoblade would have wanted the outcome to be. I think he's going for a different record right now, but it is just it sucks that all had to play out the way it did. Yeah, no, this was a great recommendation. I will definitely be revisiting it because it's just I was just sort of like just cheesing because it's like as he's like accounting all the work he's gonna have to do and setting the stakes as like if I don't do this perfectly, the whole plan will fall apart. And then you remember the plan is farming potatoes in Minecraft, and it's like, brother, be productive.
there's a bit where he's like, yeah, I farmed for 9 hours straight, and it took a 5-minute break to take my dad to get some medicine because I felt like if he died, it would have been my responsibility or something ridiculous like that. That was like, oh, like, yes, I adore Technoblade, and that's just his magnum opus, I would say.
Mm-hmm. You want to take it, Chad?
Yes, I sure. So I haven't watched all 6 episodes yet. I've watched 3.
Okay.
I do plan on watching all of them. It's been an insane week. So I don't know how I want to start this.
It's called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place for the listener.
Yes. I'm gonna start here because I know you guys are on pins and needles. I feel like this is when people first saw the Sistine Chapel for the first time. Like, it doesn't get better than this. The only question I have is, what made you think of this and me? What's the connection here?
I didn't really
I
have
think he
one.
just wants more people to see it.
I love to share it with people. I love to share it. I was pretty sure you hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know. I want to I want to see what you thought about it. I always share it with people because I discovered it a couple of years ago when I actually was watching. It was Patrick Willem. I was watching. He had a video on it, and I was like, I gotta watch this, and I was hooked the second. There's a half hour outside of the 6 episodes. There's like a half hour where it's just like the interviews the cutaway interviews they do. It's like an extra footage of that, of them just talking about like the whole show. That's also just fantastic. But and then I see him on TikTok all the time. Garth Marenghi will do like appearances as the character, and he'll do talks. There was a talk he was just doing where like he had a tape recorder and he'd go over with the tape recorder, the microphone, press play, and then a question would come out. And then he'd like, great question. And then like he'd answer it, and then he'd click it again, and there'd be a follow-up question.
Yeah, so Josh, you've seen this?
Not all of it. I've seen like 1.5, 2 episodes.
The second episode is such a great deconstruction of the female experience in the workplace. I feel that I don't know if it's intentional or not, but the whole time I'm like, yeah, this is I can only assume this is how it feels. But
when she's when the manager
Reed
Reed is stuck, when he's like when he sends Garth and Matt Berry's character down to the basement or whatever, and they're like, they're a little nervous. He's like, I'd love to go with you young bucks, but I'm stuck up here with a dusty old woman. Just like, and she's got she's having a she's they don't know who it is, but she's like terrorizing the hospital with telekinesis or whatever, and like she's like throwing stuff across the room, and he's like, "Do you mind getting that, Liz? Do you mind picking that up, Liz?" Like,
The third episode reveal that not only was he in Vietnam, that he had a half grasshopper son. I and then they show the son, and it's so ridiculous, and his wife.
the first episode where they're at the funeral.
I want to clip that, and just anytime like a mass shooting happens, just tweet that without any context.
He's just Reed is just shooting into nothing, and then you hear the best part is when Garth pulls out his gun, and the mother jumps in front of him, and it's slow motion, and you hear, "That's the mother, Rick." And then she falls out of the way, whatever, and he keeps shooting, and they're like, "She's gonna be okay," and he's like, "To apologize to her. I had to clip her. I had to do what I had to do," and she's like, "She understands." Like,
Then they just cut to them with a flamethrower.
It is just one of the most ridiculous, just the way that the first shot of this show is a cat walking in the hallway, but it's someone. You see the hands of someone throwing the cat into the hallway. All of Matt Berry's lines are 80 yard.
I feel like all of them are.
There's probably more than one for sure, but like I think all of his for sure are 80 yard. The bits where Reed is holding something and then he's not holding something, and then he's got like a cup in his hand and then a shovel. I don't know if you got to this one where or might have been the grasshopper one where he's got the one-eyed baby.
Yes.
And Matt Berry's character comes out. They're all on the hospital roof, and he's like, "The lab results came back. It's a certified killer," and it's just his lab results killer.
When he hits the head with the shovel,
there's so many. I watch it because it's such a quick watch too.
yeah.
I'll watch it like every couple months just to like every time I recommend it to someone, I'm like, you go in there, you watch it again because now I'll talk myself up into watching it again.
I say Richard Ayoade is one of those people where I'm like, if I know he's in something, it's just sort of like I like that.
Yeah.
I think his humor is so good, and Noel Fielding's in this for an episode. That's awesome. I love him.
Matt Berry he reminds me of like how I used to feel about and not to say he's not like this anymore when he does comedy, but like how I used to feel about Alec Baldwin in comedy. Where Alec Baldwin 30 Rock, every line is perfectly delivered. And that is Matt Berry in everything he does.
Was it you who sent that TikTok with Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, that like get the gun away from the dog.
What are you doing?
Honey, have you seen the gun? Yeah, that's what I thought. The dog had it. What's wrong with you people? There was a comment. There was a comment on the TikTok that was, sadly though, you can't give a gun to Alec Baldwin or the dog. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. It is such a fun, dumb comedy,
like this might be the wrong lesson, but it's like I feel less afraid to be bad about being creative now. You know what I mean?
There's such a there's things like this, and I feel the way if you want to get I mean this in the greatest compliment for the people on TikTok. Go on TikTok if you want to get a little more of that, because I just mean you'll watch something and you'll be like, this is the funniest, the greatest thing I've ever seen. But it's like in terms of like what you consider quality, it's pull out the phone and shoot. You know what I mean? Like we don't
and
care.
And what's crazy is you'll feel that once a day. You'll see something where it's like, how on earth did someone come up with something so funny?
I'll think about something I want to do, and I'm like, I gotta get this, I gotta get this. And I'm just like, nah, man. These TikTok it's a whole different vibe, You know, it's and you accept it and you love it. You know what I mean? And it's like every time I see something like that, or I'll see something in a movie, or maybe it's not even the quality thing, it's just the way they do a story, or something where it's just like I feel like as a writer or when I make something myself, I wouldn't let myself do that. And then I see it done, I go, fuck, that's I should let myself do that. I apparently love it. You know? But it's
Alrighty.
such a great show. So yeah, so what I did was Josh sent me. I'm going to say the YouTube channel. The
Oh,
YouTube
yeah.
channel is Super Eye Patch Wolf, which I did give them a subscribe. I haven't watched any other videos, but I gave them a subscription. I'm going to probably check out their stuff because they had a really good video on this. It was a video titled "Professional Wrestling is Stupid and Beautiful, and I Love It." And then Josh had me watch one of the matches that was listed in there, which was the Golden Lovers versus why am I blanking on the name right now?
The Young
The
Bucks.
Young Bucks. The Young Bucks. I kept thinking of their like the brothers' just last names and whatnot.
Yeah, Jackson.
I want to say that. Yeah, I want to say something with Jacksons. So first, let me just say my where I guess come from with wrestling when it comes to wrestling. So never really personally was into it, and I remember when I was younger, around 6 years old, a little younger. I know I had some wrestling toys. I think it was probably just someone gave them to me as a gift or something. Just trying to say,
Yeah.
hey, he probably likes these. I did like them. I thought they were cool. They were great toys. I remember in late elementary, probably more early middle school, really middle school. My brothers all kind of started getting into wrestling, WWE and Raw. And I think it was more of, especially that time, I was, we had a lot going on in our family. And I think I was starting to take on I was kind of growing into a more of I had a mature role in the family, I guess, that I had previous. So I kind of felt like, I guess because I remember it was never like I gave a shit about, like I didn't like wrestling. It was just more of like this thing of like, oh, what you kids watch, what you kids are into, you know what I mean? So they would always, I remember Rey Mysterio was a big one. I think Brad liked a lot. I want to say, I think it was Brad or I forget which ones they all liked. I know Rey Mysterio was a big one. That might have been Baron. John Cena, I remember, the classics, Undertaker.
Yeah.
But like I said, so if I probably gave them shit every now and then, in the terms of, like, not when I would tell them it's fake, if it was real, I wouldn't have watched it either. Like it meant nothing to me. I just wasn't into sports at the time. I remember we had a PSP game for wrestling. I loved that. I thought it was so anyway. Then recently, not this year, but last spring, winter, I did a little work with ICP, doing some of their like data management for them, just like kind of organizing some of their stuff. So I had to go through a lot of just like watch like some videos and stuff, and they have I want to get the right acronym or letters before I say it. Hold on a second. JCW. They have it's like their own professional wrestling company, and it's like a huge cast of characters, all of these different storylines and matches. And I wasn't editing them necessarily, but I was going through and like kind of organizing and making like the who's fighting in what match and right kind of getting writing the program guides down, and it was very entertaining. And the thing that kind of got me with that was watching it was like, when they punch each other, it kind of looks like you could tell like they're probably pulling their punches a bit. You could obviously they can hit much harder, but then they'd have these moments where like they'd then throw them through an actual sheet of glass onto a table of actual barbed wire, and they're bleeding. And I'm not sure we need to throw our punches, but so anyway,
Why are we pulling the punches? Pull the barbed wire is what I would prefer.
Let's really there's other ways we could do this, but anyway. So watching this video though, I got a much deeper appreciation and understanding for it, just in general. And I would say it actually, in some ways, might have convinced me it might be a superior form of storytelling. And that, and I did message Josh a little bit about this, having both, and it is fake in terms of when I was watching the match today. It's fake in terms of we've decided before the match who's going through the table.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
It's but like having this mix of fake and realness to it, because there's so much that is actually happening, and the outcomes are real. I mean, they're real in terms of this is their careers. Like, oh, it's fake. Yeah, tell that to the guy losing. Because they it might be predetermined. That doesn't mean it was been pre-agreed upon. So but having that mix, I felt like really added to gives the storytelling such an extra depth and an extra enemy in a way, and kind of an extra like, well, why is this happening? How true? Kind of like a Kaufman, like a Kaufman-esque, which is why probably which he's famous for that wrestling bit also. Because they had the bit about because I guess the way I was thinking about it was, imagine how you would feel different. Imagine how different you would feel about Josh Allen if you found out the reason he hadn't won a Super Bowl was because he pissed off Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, hey, hold on a second. He's even more amazing then.
And then it's like, imagine if you found out the reason he hasn't won a Super Bowl is because they're building to a season where in the playoffs he beats Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson to win a Super Bowl. And it's like, wow, the ultimate, like the full circle. He's finally overcome all these people and finally been able to do it. And that release of like, oh my gosh, after years of waiting, we finally got it.
And I can't say that it would be worse. I'd say it would be better. I mean, it's no, I thought it was a very interesting way of, and then like I just love it when the people started just when like he's showing the interview, he's like, this wasn't part of the world. Like, this was like when he starts talking about like how he got punished for just hugging his friends at the end of a match or whatever. And then how the one guy freaked out and started like just ranting about the company and whatnot. And it's like from the company's point of view too, it's like gotta be a mix of like, oh, this is embarrassing. Fucking yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that sucks for us, but do we have a choice. We can either fire him or we can turn this into a story that'll make us a shit ton of money.
And it makes me respect the wrestling, like the company even more in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like I said, I really looked at it and I was like, wow, this is when you add in like, but there is like also an external factor of someone who makes this decision, and it's real enough in terms of like, I mean, like you could argue you could do this in the NFL and get away with it if you had good enough stories that people enjoyed, because it's like we all can agree that everyone in the NFL to within reason is at the same level. You know what I mean? Like there are stars, there are people who excel, but like everyone up there is capable, like any given Sunday. It's true. So it's like
if you are interested in like the lines between work and shoot being blurred, I would suggest the Montreal Screwjob.
That's a fascinating one.
Yeah.
Scrooge. Explain. Is there like a video on it, or just as I see?
Oh, there are plenty. So basically, a quick rundown of the Montreal Screwjob. A guy in the video, Bret Hart, was the champion, and his contract was coming to a close, and he was like, "You're not giving me enough money. I'm going to this rival company." So he had a championship match against Shawn Michaels, who they both did not like each other, like in real life. They actively hated each other. And Bret said, like, listen, I'll drop the title to whoever you want. I will not lose to Shawn. Like, that's just not something I'm willing to do. And so the boss was like, "Hey, it's fine. You'll do the match. You can win, and if you choose to leave, you choose to leave, and that's the end of it." So they do the match, and at one point, Sean puts Brett in a submission hold, and it's like if he taps, he loses. Brett does not tap, and you see the boss walk down and say, "Ring the bell," and they ring the bell, claim he tapped out, and he now lost the title to this person he hates, despite not. Like, it was a total shock to him. He was told, "You're gonna win, it's fine," and then to be publicly fucked over in his home city, it was like
It's not his home
huge.
city.
Was he not from?
No, he's from Calgary.
That's right. It was just his home country.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Another way they get away with it though, like you can't. If Goodell, can you imagine if Goodell came down on the fucking sideline? It was like pull that flag off the field.
Or even just like, it's the playoffs again. Josh Allen's making a comeback, and he comes down and says, "The clock's at 0."
Yeah, no.
And they're like,
yeah,
"What?"
10-second
Like,
runoff.
it's done. The game is done.
There's a 10-minute runoff. We're halfway through the fourth quarter. 10 minutes runoff.
There's so many examples, like the Vince tearing both his quads incident.
Even what led to that, the fact that like
that's what I was hinting at, but yeah.
But just making the league and the the owners or the company or the ownership, whatever you want to call it, of the league, its own character, its own hero and villain and protagonist, it's really brilliant, Yeah. And
well, I'm
sorry. I just say it really opened. I just thought it really just made it. I'm just repeating myself at this point. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, that was the main purpose, because I think it's so weird that for something that's been so popular and so like, this isn't like it shouldn't be a super niche thing. It's been on TV for 50 years. Like, it's 3 nights a week minimum every week. This is a thing, yet there's still such a weird stigma around it because of the fact that it is all predetermined. But it's like, there's a line he says at the end where he's like, "Just because it isn't real doesn't mean it isn't honest." And I think the way they tell stories, it's just like, it's a weirdly misunderstood medium to tell stories.
I think when people say it's not real, I think it's just like, I feel like I was watching. It's almost like saying like a dance isn't real because it's choreographed.
Yeah.
Just like it felt like, I don't know. It's like, it's not real. It's like, yeah, but that's not what this is. Like we have quote unquote real fighting.
Yeah, and at the same time,
fine,
it's like,
yeah, this is just like an action. I don't know. There's like the level of story you go, and it made me think of the South Park episode, where they're just going up there and they're just doing soap operas with microphones, just like doing plays, basically.
Yeah. And it is that weird flip thing where people will be like, "Oh, you like that fake shit? You should watch a real thing like Game of Thrones." And it's like, brother, that's infinitely faker. But like, nobody cares that that's fake, because like, wrestling doesn't pretend to, like, it pretends to be real in the context of the show. But like, anyone who watches it, you're like, this character is the Undertaker is a zombie wizard. I mean, nobody's pretending that's real.
To say it's fake, and then be like, and look what CENTCOM is saying about the Iran war.
Yeah.
Like, hold on a second.
Yeah, or like, or like Undertaker throwing Mick Foley off the top of Hell in a Cell. Like, that. Yeah, sure, that was predetermined, but he still fell from 30 feet onto a table.
Yeah.
Like
it's not real, but it's like, when they say it's not real, it's like, but it is though, in terms of the stakes are real. This person's career is affected. This person.
I was at a live show and I watched somebody get a neck injury that he will never wrestle again. It's a miracle he's walking again, and it's it can go wrong at the blink of an eye.
And yeah, like I said, I was talking about the match that I watched. And I will admit, a lot of the match I watched on 2x speed, which I enjoyed more. I enjoyed it even more. Honestly, it was like, wow, this is amazing. They're kicking the shit out of each other, like no breaks, But correct me, the one thing I might have missed a little bit about the relationship between Matt Jackson and Omega.
Yeah, so
Um,
they at the end of the first video when he's talking about, Kenny was feeling left behind, so he joined the Bullet Club to be like that armor.
yeah,
The Young Bucks were two like fundamental Bullet Club members, and the three of them formed a group within the Bullet Club just called the Elite. And it was like the three of them were ride or die when Kenny was separated from Ibushi. So when Ibushi came back, it was like they were like, "Well, hold on now. What about us? Are we just getting discarded because all of a sudden your friend's back?" And
but see now the one thing I guess I had, because correct me if I'm wrong, Matt kind of gives Omega his blessing to finish the match, to finish him in the match, because he grabs him and he's gonna do the move, and then Omega he can't, and then Matt grabs him, puts him down, and then like rolls into it, like, no, you're doing this, and
see,
then
I view that as him just being like pissed about like you are not gonna fuck it. Like you chose your side. You don't get to
oh,
like bitch out of this now. Like fucking do it. You
I
chose this. Fucking do it.
now this could have also been a factor from not knowing the full details, of course, and watching
Yeah.
it twice the speed. The vibe I got was like this kind of like because what the reason was because at the same time I had remembered the first part of the video where they talked about the passion of the torch.
Mhm.
You know how he kind of like, I took that as like a, hey, like, like kind of all is for, like, you're good, do what you got to do type thing. So when he does it, and then like later on, like I figured, okay, like I understood, like then later on at the end of the match, Omega having a tough time getting through to the brother Nick. Yeah, Nick's going to be a little more, he didn't just have that moment of accepting the end. But
Yeah.
then when Nick comes along over, is like, yeah, okay, we're good. And then Matt's got the problem. I'm like, Matt, why did you could have just chosen not to just break your, like, because that was a finishing move, basically. That ended him. Like, that put him down. He never really got up after that. And it was all about the back. And it was like, Matt, if you're so upset, maybe don't do that next time.
Yeah. I definitely, especially like knowing the characters more, because like there's a moment just before then where the same guy who takes that move is down and Kenny's hesitating and Ibushi grabs him and yells at him and like throws his arm into position to start the move. And I think it was like both of them were like, we are too far in this for you to be like, I want to keep the peace. You chose a war, go to fucking war.
Yeah.
And
I watched the video, the YouTube video. I was watching it while driving. I think it was Wednesday. I watched it, and or might have been last Friday even. Man, it almost had me teared up at the end with that. When I was like just like listening to the story, and there was, I forget which part it was, but there was like just another setback for Omega. I'm like driving. I'm like, God damn! I'm like, come on.
The two parts that get me there are when it talks about he was struggling to finish the match, and it's like he reached deep down, and what he found was Ibushi, whose finishing move he used to win the match. I'm like, oh. And then the way that music comes in at the end, where they finally embrace, it's like, oh my gosh, he does the right fucking music.
Then there was like a moment where like he got like he like rejected, like he ejected Ibushi or something, and it was like I said, it was it was the story. Like I said, the story aspect of it in itself is like I said, the stories they can tell with it are very cool. It's quite a vehicle. So no, I can definitely understand what the appeal to it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so I think we're. Do we want to do what we're looking forward to?
Sure.
Yes, we can make it the list. I'll start. So I feel like I kind of mentioned this before a little bit, but I think it's about to come out, so I'm just gonna say because I'm very excited. every time I see something about it, I remember how excited I actually am to see this movie, and I think I'm going to try to see it in theaters. And I'd be down to even set something up if you guys want to try to go see it. The Backrooms.
Yes.
I like the concept. It's I'll be honest, it was one of those things where I first heard about it again. Like when I saw the video of the movie, I remember being like, I've seen this somewhere. I've seen this somewhere. And I was like kind of like trying to remember when I'd seen it. And I think just like COVID time has still got me so fucked up of like being like I couldn't pinpoint when I had heard or seen or when it was from. So in my mind for a moment, I'm thinking this was like for some reason thinking not that I saw it then, but it was from 2003. And I'm like, is this a real thing? Like I was like for a moment being like, which got me more excited. And I was like, no, that's insane for a moment. Just go see the movie. Just be excited for the movie. But anyway, so I'm excited for that movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that this weekend.
Oh yeah, that's the date. It comes out tomorrow, doesn't it?
I think so, yeah. I guess
Nice.
technically tonight. But so there's a movie coming out soon that for me checks two like weird boxes of like things that I really enjoy watching. Um I once a year go down a rabbit hole where I just spend a week watching every clip To Catch a Predator has ever had. Um, it's so fun. It's such a like. It's obviously it's horrifying when you really think about it, but just watching these fucking losers crumble is so awesome. And one of my favorite actors, if not my favorite, is Robert Pattinson. So when I found out Robert Pattinson is playing Chris Hansen in a movie about like everything that led to the formation of To Catch a Predator,
Really?
I was like, yeah, it's called Prime Time. And I was like, this could not be more up my alley. This is such an insane, like Josh specific movie. I am so looking forward to it.
For
It's
Robert
just
Pattinson alone, it's like that sounds like such an interesting character for him.
yeah.
Like I'm like I think Robert Pattinson is like getting to the point. He's like I feel like at the point where I feel like about Gosling and Gyllenhaal, where it's like, oh no, if they're in it, it's a good movie. It's gonna be good. You know what I mean? They don't pick bad
Interesting.
movies.
I don't necessarily think that about Gyllenhaal. I think he's had some kind of like bummers.
Let's hear it. It's a recent one.
Roadhouse.
Okay, well, I guess to be fair, I came up with this idea a couple years ago, so it was pretty Roadhouse. But Roadhouse,
Okay.
at the same time, I think Roadhouse gets us. That's not an original movie, and no one's gonna say not be the new Patrick Swayze. That's just too tempting.
So
okay,
Josh, did I show you
right
this movie or this trailer?
Yes.
Okay.
I had heard about it, like the movie, but I didn't know there was a trailer out. So when you sent, like, 'cause I sort of forgot about it, so you sent me the trailer, and I was like, "Oh, that's already like we're already getting there." So yeah, thank you for sending me that because I was
Josh,
pretty
if someone came
stoked.
up to you, Josh, and said, "We got this movie that Patrick Swayze used to be in this role. God damn it, we want to remake it, and you are the guy. You are this. We see you as replacing Patrick Swayze in this role. You're going to be like, sounds hacky."
Like I'm not worthy of this. No one is worthy of this.
True. That's my mind. That should have been Gyllenhaal's response. And I admit defeat.
Also, it's one of those things where it's like, guys, you are aware that Roadhouse is good on a technicality, right? Like as a movie, it's crazy, but like it's good because it's crazy and it's Patrick Swayze.
It kind of reminds you of kind of like Point Break,
Yeah.
Of just being like, this is insane. What's happening? Chip.
Alrighty. So I wasn't quite sure what I was gonna pick, and then so I was just going through my like watch list on Netflix, and then none of those really stood out. So I went to Amazon, and the new Spider Noir TV series came out recently, and the Spider-Verse movies are some of my favorites, and the Nick Cage character in the first one is definitely a highlight, and I'm eager to see what they do with it. So
I love when I watch the Spider-Verse movies. Every time I watch them, I find myself having to remind myself that they're animation. For
Yes.
what it's like, I get so immersed in it, and the
And
animation
they're just
all
so much
blends
better
together.
than I remember them being. Every time I watch them, somehow I'm like, fuck, I
And
don't remember
the
it being that good.
and the like, and there are things where it's always like, it's like when I notice when I notice something about it, it's like either really good or really bad. Kind of like there's things I don't normally notice in a movie, but it's like even the soundtrack in that movie is fantastic. You know, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's something I don't always notice. You know, like when I find myself noticing like this something up with the sound or the soundtrack, it's like no, I just both of them too, both the sequels.
If they
Yeah,
stick the landing, this has the potential to be like talked about when it's debated, like what's the best trilogy of all time. This will have like a genuine like argument to be like maybe it's the Spider-Verse trilogy.
yeah, right up there with it'd be right there with Austin Powers.
I think
I,
that go on, Chad.
A hill
Go
I
on.
will die on.
I think Josh knows my hot take as far as the soundtrack goes of the first movie.
What's your hot take?
I know I've heard it before, and I think I might have suppressed it because I think I might disagree. What was it?
That it should have won album of the year if they got rid of the Nicki Minaj and Jaden
I
Smith
like that
songs.
song. I at this point though, like it's kind of like fuck Nicki Minaj, so like I guess fine, I'll take it. In retrospect, you can win that one, but I think the song is kind of fire. At least until she starts. I like the beginning.
But the rest of the songs are 10 out of 10, and it's just sad that they're both on there. But yeah,
So does that bring us to the film of the week?
It does bring us to the film of the week. Chad, this was your recommendation. This is your suggestion. Take it
yeah,
away.
yes. So as the other two fellas here know, I played a lot of baseball growing up. Some would say too much. Um, and I saw this on the recommendation of another podcast and called Big Screen Sport, Big Screen Sports, and I was like what is this? And I was like, who's this Glenn Powell guy? Like, why is the host of the show like talking about this guy? I was like, who is this? So I watch it and I fell in love, and um, so when I watched it yesterday as a rewatch, I didn't realize how much Glenn Powell was actually in this movie. Like my memory from the first time I watched it was like, oh, he's in like a quarter of the scenes, but no, he's in
It's
like
his movie. Like more than
I
the
would,
main guy.
if this is one of the earlier on ones, I wouldn't doubt if it was like he had a couple scenes and they're like, write more for him. He's going to be here too.
yeah,
He's going to bring him
yeah.
along.
But so when this I first started watching it yesterday, I was about to take notes of just everything that they got. I don't want to say right about my experience on a baseball team, but like I could either see that happening or know somebody that's happened to, or like, and then I was like, oh, I just spent 5 hours watching a scene and then taking notes of every single little thing they got right. That I was like, I can't do it, and I'll just do it off of memory based on the conversation. So there's just, I guess, what just to kind of go off of what Josh texted us earlier. Is there any artist or actor that you guys knew was going to be a star based on an early project?
I don't think I can't. None came. It was a good prompt, but I was like, damn. I was like, I'm not getting on things early enough. That's what the prompt made me realize.
There were two that I sort of thought of, both from the same movie, although one of the guys has had other stuff.
Complete
A
side
movie
note.
that
My buddy
unfortunately,
produced
Chad, we
Revis.
will be. Oh, wait, what? Like Darrell Revis?
My buddy, a side note, the year before he went off, he's like, watch for Revis this year. He's about to fucking just go off. And I was like, all right. And then suddenly it was like,
That's
who
not
the
fair
fuck
because
is
he
this
went off
this guy?
every year.
No, I'm saying before he went off the first time. Anyway,
But the two I had were Carrie Christopher, who played Alex Lilly in Weapons, the kid, he like this is just like I think it's gonna happen because he was so good and like the nuance he brought to his role as a child, I was like, "Fuck you, man! Don't be so good at this that young." And then he's already sort of exploding a bit more. But Austin Abrams, who played Brennan the junkie in Weapons too, I think he's awesome, and I could see him having like a very big career coming up here.
Have you guys heard of a little artist by the name of Tupac Shakur? He's going places.
Okay.
Yeah, he's well, I'm sure he'll be a hell of an actor one day, right?
Potential. Well, hold on. I was going to say music. I don't know if he's going to dabble in acting. I wouldn't count on that. But
I don't know if he's got the juice for that.
That's that one. We actually might put on my recommendations one of these days because I want to revisit that movie. Because that movie to me it's crazy.
Anyway, back to Everybody Wants Some. After watching it, I was like, okay, what's the of all the parts, what's the most believable and least believable from my experience? And the least believable I'll start with is when they're at the theater party, and after Glenn Powell's character gets like kind of cock blocked by Jake and what's the other guy's name, and then he kind of goes off on him like, you know, when we're at practice, all you do talk about is pussy, but now that there's actually like females around, you just want to talk about baseball. My
Love that
one
line.
One issue is that they weren't talking about baseball before that, so the line kind of doesn't make sense.
Not true. They were talking about baseball the entire time. They were talking about
Really?
baseball.
Yeah, there were other guys in the kitchen, and they just kept talking about.
No, him specifically. Let me pull up the
Jake?
cast real quick. Not the black guy.
Yeah.
They were talking about baseball. I mean, they were talking about how they're going to win it that year. They were talking about he's the best third baseman. They were talking about it every chance they got. No, I love that line because it reminded me. Honestly, there were moments that Glenn Powell's character reminded me of a buddy of mine, and that line specifically, I was like, I feel like he said this before. I feel like I've heard him say this. You know, like there was. Yeah, I'm sorry. Keep going.
But it was kind of like unbelievable to me because, like, in my experience, we never talked about baseball like outside of baseball. It was like we would talk about literally anything else, and like especially when we were like in the dugout, it got to be a problem to where we were like, hey, remember playing like, or we would like make plans about like playing basketball in the pool or whatever after the game, and our coach would be like fucking pissed at us, like focus
thinking
like a little bit.
Thinking about a completely different game and sport.
Yeah. But the most believable, and it's kind of tied in, is that every like activity that they do at the house, almost none of them involve baseball. The one that does is the guy hitting the ball with an axe, and that's it. We played wiffle ball maybe one time in my entire travel career, and the rest of the time it was like basketball, being in the pool, just running around playing football, everything else besides baseball. But the competitive, like, oh, these guys like have to win at everything at all costs, 100% believable. And just just some mental notes, like, I would never want a baseball player as a wingman. It just seems like they're so bad at it, especially like in the opening, you know, kind of few scenes when they're talking to Zoe Deitch character, and then she starts like kind of mentioning the kid in the back, and then the driver takes off. And it's like, yeah, that's 100% believable, and it's just like he has to bribe him with beer to like reverse, 100% believable. And I'm more interested in what you guys have to say, like, and if you have any questions about my experience. But I, as far as like Glenn Powell goes, he's like to say he steals every scene he's in is an understatement. He like robs and like it's not even like fair.
Yeah,
But
no, he seems like he does seem like. I mean, he's not like a. I mean, it both is a mix because like he seems like he's definitely like has the most presence on camera, but the
yeah,
lack of presence that the other ones have, just like makes it feel more authentic to what they're trying to portray. So it's like like I said, it was so both they're all good in that regard.
yeah.
Um, this so this is what I'll say about the movie. I have to watch this movie again. I will say I definitely will watch this movie again because I realized when I watched it the first time that as I was watching it, I realized I was like, I not only wasn't for some reason ready for this type of movie, but I wasn't like both in the mindset and I think they're not. I would say without saying anything because it's not saying anything negative about the movie. It's more about how I feel about these type of movies. I don't know if hangout movies are my type of movie, and I think because after the movie, I kind of caught myself being like, I think you enjoyed that movie more, but you like weren't for whatever reason. I was for whatever reason not letting myself get in like the hangout because when they're at the baseball scene when they take Willoughby away,
Hmm.
which was I mean was arguably the biggest deal of the movie, but also wasn't a big deal. Like it was played so like well there he goes and well yeah that happens anyway. Um, but like I was like for
I
whatever
love
reason
his. Well, here for a good time, not a long time, boys, and then
yeah
just walks away, never to speak to him again.
and there but I feel like I was for some I was like I was waiting at times like something bad's gonna happen like what's gonna happen and I had to be like we're just hanging out we're just hanging out with these people in this time getting this vibe and I think I just wasn't like I wasn't ready I wasn't in the hangout vibe and I don't think that's my default when I watch movies so like I said I will rewatch this eventually with that in mind. And I think I'll enjoy it more because there were plenty of moments that I was like, I've been here. I feel like I like just from college, like I've been in an apartment just like this. I've been in a like that kind of weird feeling of just being you're around these people that a friend know. Like you've just bumped into someone's friend from back at school, and now it's just all these like suddenly like you're this like now you're back on the outside. You're kind of sitting there, but like everyone's also like everyone. I remember the first day of college noticing like a distinct difference of like, oh, the vibe here is very different. Like this is a much more welcoming. We're all kind of just everyone's kind of friends with everyone type. Like there wasn't any like weirdness of like who should be
They were
talking or hanging out with
quick,
anyone.
but it wasn't like this group versus that group. It was just like there are just some groups you can hop in if you feel like
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
mean you could wander into someone's house and it was like whatever. And that's kind of the vibe this movie had a lot of times. And I also like that I think uh some of the like because some of the parties they were in that were like some of the parties were more like they were big parties, but you also tell like just like I don't know the locations they were in, the houses. It had a very rundown college like when they go upstairs and he's trying to get the guys out of his room who are just drinking, have a few drinks or whatever, and it's like just the vibe of them having their own party within a party, them being at a separate location and coming like they went to on a different trip that night and they're back. It just is like these nights, these things, everything's so familiar. Like it would be nothing like you come back to the place, you went out with 3 people, and these 2 people went out to go to this different place. What part did you go to? The only part that I found unbelievable, truthfully, was that well, there's another part, but the main thing I found unbelievable in terms of in the story was that they literally dressed for the theme of everywhere they went. Both in
I
What was
think
terms
that
that?
of
that's
like
more of an 80s thing.
both in terms of the practicality and also just like that college guys, anyone like I don't know, like that just feels like more work. I mean, some that feels like a party goer I'd love to be, but am not. I guess But the only other thing I'll say, and it gets a slight pass because it was a movie set in the '80s, but it also doesn't get this pass because this is just they would have done this regardless of what they said the movie in. And I think this is just something that annoys me a little bit about movies, and I couldn't help but find myself thinking this during the movie, which is why can we have shows and we have movies where the star or the stars or the whole cast, everyone, they're children, they're kids, they're the age they're playing, but for whatever reason, when we get to high school and college, we got to go. You got to be 26 and up. You got to be late 20s, early 30s. Like, we can't have high school or college age people looking there. And I was just like I said, they get a little past because they're in the 80s and everyone kind of looks a little older when you look back. You know, you get those with the facial hair and everything. But I was watching this. I'm like, Glenn Powell, you are not 22. Like, you are not 21.
He would have been about 24 at time of filming.
I think I looked at the wrong one. I thought he was 27 when I looked maybe I looked
That's when
it
it came out, though. So he would have been like 24, 25
true,
when they filmed.
Okay. So I get a little bit, but
to your point, though, and credit for this, I was like, these guys all look fairly young. Oh, and then Wyatt Russell's here. Whatever, I'll buy he's in college. And then when that happened later, I was like, these sons of bitches, I fell for it. I'm just like the baseball players. I fell for it too.
I like, yeah, but no, like I said, there's a lot of stuff in moments, I guess, where I was like, I felt like I wasn't crazy about that. Felt awkward. I was like, I think it was meant to be awkward. I was like, yeah, fair enough. You know, like sometimes I find myself critiquing the wrong things. You know, like being like I'm thinking of like it's almost like I've got a vision of what the movie is in my head, and I'm watching it, being like, what is this? This isn't what I'm thinking. You know, but like I said, I think they just, you know, in terms of getting like a lot of vibe and just tone of things across of just like this of like getting location setting and just like of what it's like just kind of like I feel like be new at college to you know, settle in to meet the whether they're upperclassmen or just they're just the people who've already been there and they're established, you know, going to different parties, being okay with whatever. I don't know. A lot of the vibes were really of just being like, man, I remember a lot of this. And the one critique I was also being like was like, hey, an hour and 18 minutes before we got baseball.
Okay.
The closest thing we got to baseball before that was hitting a baseball with an axe. So we never got the full baseball game of bat and ball. But yeah, I think in the moment I was a little bit like, you know, I found myself being like maybe impatient and anxious watching the movie. And I think that was, like I said, because it was just being me not being in the tone and me not being in the mindset of what the movie is going for, which is just, hey, we're hanging out. And like I said, that's not my default. So something I just got to be more conscious of going forward and watching it when I watch it again. But yeah, Glenn Powell was fantastic. A lot of great characters. Oh, and finally, the last thing I'll say about it is Zoe. I don't know if that's Deutsch or Deutsch. Zoe Deutsch.
I might be wrong.
The things I would do to make sure that Iran didn't get a nuclear weapon for her. Anyway.
Yeah, so there are a few things about some people in this movie that I had to look over in order to enjoy it. I will say, typically, you know, Chad and our views on movies are pretty similar. And I know you really like this one, and I'll be honest, right about the time when our main character gets upstairs and talks to Glenn Powell, I was like, oh, 5-star movie. Like, this is going to be a 5-star movie if it can hold that. Spoilers for later, it did. I think Glenn Powell is the most charismatic man, maybe since George Clooney. The natural charisma, and like George Clooney has a different kind of like suave charisma, Glenn has like I just want to hang out with this guy. I bet that'd be such a good time. Um, not a lot of quotes I have, except there was one moment I watched 3 times because it made me laugh so hard when they're at the punk show. And for the first time, Jake is like getting introspective because it's always like Glenn Powell seems to be like a very smart, like actually smart, well read guy,
Yeah.
if not a little arrogant about it. But and Jake is like, it's crazy. We went from like a disco club to a country bar, and now we're here at a punk show, and it just like, sort of makes you question your own identity and who you are. And Glenn Powell just looks at him and goes, "Are you insecure about the duck feet?" And Jake goes, "I'm so insecure about the duck feet." And it's just like the guy who is like waxing poetic the whole movie and like bringing out these quotes to try to impress people finally has someone like sort of leverage that back to him, and he's just like, "Is your insecurity talk?" Like he just reads him like a book about like, I see what it is. It's the duck feet, and oh my gosh, yeah, I thought the whole cast was great. Um, Even like some of the smaller roles. I'm trying to look up his name, Tyler something. He played Superman. Uh, Tyler Hoechlin, who played McReynolds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was really good. I liked his little story with the being over competitive, and then the little moment at practice with Detroit was awesome. And the little like them sort of like not being
Just being
like,
like,
"Oh, we're good
you're
now," but
good.
just getting to a point where it's like,
No,
I
he said it.
understand.
No, he said it. He's like, we're good.
Yeah, but like it didn't feel like, oh, they're good
Well,
friends now, but like they were
no,
like
but it was like he
respect.
knew that Detroit wanted to apologize,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and him coming up is his as much as he can do for an apology, which is
yeah,
enough for day one of the season.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
But I thought
Richard
it was
Link.
very, I just thought it was very cool. I thought his character was great. I thought that I just loved the scene of them wanting to go at each other. And he were honestly Detroit reminded me of when I think about it, that would be like I imagine who Uncle Rico thought he was.
yes. But from like a more like being a part of a team perspective, it's like, especially when you get to like a higher level of sports, it's like, oh yeah, like it's kind of a theme throughout the movie. It's like, oh, this is a different level now. Like you were the best player on your team, you're like barely even like a thought on this team. Like you have to like not only prove yourself, but you have to improve. And McReynolds hitting that home run off of Jay is like, it's such a like like big leaguing. Like it's just like that's so, like so realistic that it's like, oh yeah, you think you know a lot, but then you meet somebody who actually knows something, and it's like, yeah, no, you know nothing.
Yeah, and the levels, the levels within the levels. Like
Yes.
how good can get, kind of.
Yeah, there's a couple moments like when Jake is pitching and McReynolds gets up and Jake throws the fastball by him, and then the catcher goes 0-1, and then
Yeah,
McReynolds goes make it 0-2, and like I think even the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, he's gonna like hit a double right now. Like it's not a question of if, it's like yeah, he's going to do this now, and like that's such a good lesson to like a freshman, that there's not like even like a dialogue between them. It's just he just understood like, okay, yeah, this is a new level now.
Yeah, like it's and all. Yeah, like no, because being because it's he's basically taken away an entire pitch. Now it's last shot most likely. No, so I definitely.
and I also sorry. With that, I saw some people in like reviews alluding to that, like he was kind of a dick, and it's like, yeah, but not because of that scene. Like if you're on a team, like I didn't play nearly as much baseball as you. I stopped freshman year of high school, but when you're on a team, you want a guy like that's the team leader, and you want a leader like that who's
Yeah.
not gonna like He's not going to baby you. He's not going to like take it easy on you. His goal is to make the team the best it can be.
Yeah, or hold a grudge.
And that's like what he's And it wasn't like when he hit the double, it wasn't like, yeah, fuck you, man. He was just like, this is how it's going to be. Like, this is what we're up. Like, this is how every person you're going against is going to be elite.
Yeah, like no, you've got to get to the next level. Basically.
There's another scene involving Mick Reynolds where it's the fight at the disco, and all the baseball players jump in, and I forget who it is, but somebody's like, "No, you stay," because it's like, yeah, the talent doesn't fight. The actual like people with a future, they don't fight. They'll be there, but they're not gonna throw a punch or nothing. That's very.
You're not getting in trouble.
You're not getting in trouble. You're not getting hurt. No,
I like at the end of that scene too when Detroit's like, "All right, where are we going next?" And they're like, "No, we are not going anywhere."
He's like, "I'm gonna run home."
There's just so many people where you're like, I've met this person. I've met someone like this. You know, like, no, yeah, the running home. It was a very interesting group of people.
A couple other notes. Just this is a me thing. Play Everybody Wants Some earlier in the movie, because every time they did another needle drop, I was like, but there's a song called Everybody Wants Some. And shouldn't you be playing that song at some point? And then when they played it finally, and I was like, good.
Like everyone wanted some of it.
When it comes to those, like Brendan was saying, sort of hangout movies, I don't know if anybody in the world does it better than Richard Linklater. The Before trilogy is another one of my favorite trilogies of all time. And it's the same. It's just two people having a conversation for like 2 hours. It's the best. I
had no idea that he also did School of Rock.
Yeah. He's great. He's so good at getting those little characters, like just little character traits that aren't super overt or obnoxious. But yeah, I really, this was so up my alley. I could just talk about how much I love each individual scene, and we could, like Chad said, we could just go frame by frame and be like, and I like how he said this in this scene, and I like how they're friends, and I like how the friendships also felt like that natural, because there's that little bit of awkwardness of like, oh, I'm walking into this house where I live now with people I don't know. And in situations where like you enter a group, he did what people do and gravitate towards like, all right, well, these like 2 or 3 people are going to be like my guys in the group of my guys. And you could see like the littler sort of offsets. And it was like, Glenn Powell was his guy he was going with. Glenn Powell and the character, let me get what was the name? Finnegan? Finnegan and Dale were his 2 guys where he was like, yep. Almost every scene Jake had to break off, they were there. I love the scene where they see his old friend from high school, and it's like, oh, hey, do you want to go hang with them? And they were both kind of like, okay. And then they did it. But like even Glenn Powell, the way he just adapted to any scene he was in, it was just like, this is where I am now. This is where I want to be. Hell yeah.
Yeah, when they ask him to go to the punk show, and they're like kind of debating it, and then they cut to Glenn Powell, and he's just like, he kind of like thinks about it for a split second, and then goes, "Yep," and he just is all in instantly.
And then at the party, everyone's like, "What the heck?" And he's just like, "I'll take this hat, and I'll walk on in." And it's like, hell yeah, man.
Man, yeah, Oh, it's just there's like even like the kind of rookie hazing stuff that they do, the taping.
Oh, you mean the almost murder?
Well, yeah, but it's so like it's kind of brilliant in a way, because just from playing and doing a little bit of coaching, when you go up a level, one of the like things that I find in baseball is that a kid will learn the ability to be afraid of the ball because they're not used to seeing it go that fast. That it like the perception is just off for them, so they get scared of it. So them being tied up, like not being able to defend themselves, and them just hitting them with baseballs, it kind of serves two purposes. Not only is it like a hazing thing, but it's like, yeah, it's different here. The ball's gonna hurt a little more, but it's all like it's not gonna be that bad. Like you're not gonna die from it. So, it, I don't know.
I,
I thought that was
I,
brilliant.
I get what you mean. I also am like, I feel like if it was like, oh, this is being done by, McCluskey and Finn, or like the senior class, 2 or 3 of the senior guys who are the most skilled batters are going to be hitting these, and we know they're not going to hit them because we know how good they are. Whereas the way they were all just launching it, I was like, one guy just cracks it too hard, and it just sends a straight line right at someone. I mean, I was like, oh God, oh Jesus. When they're like, someone got their eye got, I was like, damn right they did.
I
I get what you mean, but I was also like, do not time me.
I also think that they were farther away than you think they were.
Also,
that almost makes it scarier
because
because you got to hit it hard to get the ball there.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. It's like they got to really get it, and they were all hitting it like at different angles, higher and low, and I was like, oh, this is. If I was, let's put it this way, if they were going to do that stunt even practically a little bit, anyone like even like if they were just going to start hitting in direction of something that could break, as an AD, I would have been losing my fucking mind.
That's one of the. That's one of the only notes I had where I was like, "Do better, Richard." It was so clear that when they'd hit the ball, and then they'd cut to the other shot, and it was so clear someone was off screen, just being like,
yeah,
because you'd see it crack it, and then these balls lightly coming down, and you don't want to actually be hitting baseballs at these guys, but yeah, really just good picture.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else. So
I just kept again to echo the sentiment of just every couple minutes I'd be like, "Fuck, I love this movie." I saw a review from Riley Savage from Hive Mind, who just said, "This is like if a really good director made a movie written by a 17-year-old boy. I hope they play an actual baseball game in the sequel."
I don't know. I kind of love the fact that they play a game. It like that's not the point of the movie. It's
the best sports movies don't focus on sports. Like this is just how it goes.
I will say though, I was surprised just because baseball is such a good sport for films. And I just, like I said, it was an hour and like 56-minute movie or something like that, just under 2 hours. And it was still an hour and 18 minutes for the actual baseball scene. And like I said, it's not a negative critique. Like, I understand what they were doing, and I think they nailed it. Like I said, this is like the only argument that I would say was like, oh, this felt not real. Like I said, the fact that they change for every theme. Not to like a huge degree, but they do change. They do make it a point to change for the theme, and that I would say, particularly the party at the end, seemed just a little more organized.
Well, it was the theater department.
True, I'll give them that, but at the same time, but still, like that's not like just for a college party, it seemed a little more put together. But it's a movie, and it wasn't like over the top. Outside of that, I felt like it was just a wonderful job of just like you want to see. Now, granted, I wasn't a baseball player, but at the same time, like, do you want to see a little get a little slice of what moving day or the first weekend of being up at a new college is kind of like? it's like there's a lot of moments in this where I was like, I was here, I did this. Not the sports aspect because we didn't get to the Granted, I didn't play any. I also didn't play any baseball in college. From hour and 18 minutes into my time at Central, but no, like I like just the way they were going to different parties, kind of just going in groups and like just like, oh, we're gonna so and so invited us over, and it's like they're not like they're just a completely different set of friends and group, and it's just the only one person here knows them. But hey, yeah, let's go, and they're just kind of sitting there on the couch, kind of like just like a little awkward because you're not like uncomfortable, but you also aren't as comfortable as the person who brought you here, No, I thought they did so many great capturing so many great so many moments that like I said, I felt like I experienced myself.
Yeah. Want to do some ratings here?
Sure.
Yes.
I mean, I already said mine, 5 stars. Can't knock it. Loved it. We'll be watching it again within a month.
I want to give it I'm going to give it a 4-star. I will say it could probably get to 4.5 if I watch it in the right just vibe. If I match the vibe, but I'll say a 4, solid 4.
I'm
4.5.
I'm gonna go.
Baseball all the way through.
I'm gonna go 5. I can't find a thing I dislike about it, and I think I mentioned in the earlier episode that to me a perfect movie is that not only are the acting good, cinematography, all that, but they nailed what they're going for, and this is the prime example of they nail what they're going for, and I don't know, 5 stars.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, Josh, what do you got for us next week?
Okay. Let me finish writing my prompt there because I apparently exited out part of it. Okay. So I have a few prompts, a few reused ones because I'm, there's just some movies I want to talk about
There are
more.
only so many movies.
Yeah. Okay. So I have 5 here for us. The first is a movie I would like more of, even if we get a different cast. The second is a movie that sent me on the biggest roller coaster of emotions. So it had incredible highs and also incredible lows, like intentional lows, not like me hating the movie. A movie that proves a higher budget is not necessary when put up against its high budget counterpart. A movie that really shows how to explore a universe and develop the lore around it. And then a movie that proves how beneficial it is to take a chance on a creative wild card.
Is the creative wild card Ezra Miller?
No, that's never beneficial.
Man, I'm kind of leaning towards no.
Through which one? Which one are you leaning towards?
I don't want to say it because I guess the higher budget that one.
'Cause I was leaning towards the highs and lows. Can you tell us what the higher budget movie was?
No, because they have the same name. Kind of.
Interesting. Yeah, we'll go higher budget.
I go the budget one with Chad.
Okay. I watched this last year. I'm excited to watch it again. Chad, were you worried because you think it's a horror movie?
Yes.
You're kind of right. Because this movie is Hellboy the Crooked Man. a
Okay.
low budget Hellboy movie that came out, I think, 2 years ago. A 2024 movie that came out. Um, I am a big fan of Hellboy. I was not a big fan of the 2019 Hellboy movie with David Harbour.
This
Um,
isn't this isn't the remake or the newer one. This is a different one.
it's the newest one, yeah. Or here, I'll send the link for it. Well, not the link for the movie, but just the poster. Um, yeah, it's a real low budget, kind of grimy telling of this Hellboy story. It is on the horror side, though still being like a superhero, movie. I think that where a movie like the 2019 Hellboy went wrong, trying to be like a big superhero action movie, this movie just tells a really good Hellboy story. Like it nails it. It nails the characters. I think the portrayal of Hellboy is really good. Might even be better than the Ron Perlman one, although I love the first two. Um, and yeah, I was excited for this one because I've been looking for like I wanted to watch it again, and I thought, yeah, if I because I don't really know anybody else that like has seen the movie that I actively talk to, so I'm like, hey, this is good. I'll make my friends watch it and we can discuss it because I do think it's really good. There are some things where a lower budget will hurt some CGI shots and stuff like that, but overall, I think they really nailed it, and it makes it kind of embarrassing when you see some of these high budget movies where the effects look equally bad, if not worse, and the movie somehow sucks around that anyway. Like it, yeah, it's
I mean, I'm very excited because my cousin actually. It's funny because I haven't talked to him in a while. He hit it this past week. He got me when I was younger for Christmas one time the 2004 Hellboy with Ron Perlman, and I love that movie. And I'm
Yeah.
excited, and I think a lower budget actually really for this story is perfect. It's kind of
Yeah.
that's like that fits the type of movie I feel like that it is. And I was mixing it up with the 2019 Hellboy because I remember they did do a remake and I didn't see it, but just looking at the pictures, it just feels like it's trying to do a little too much.
Yeah,
But
and the part of the problem, they cast David Harbour, and who's at like peak popular. Stranger Things was off the charts, and it was like they almost were like, well, we still want your personality and your charm, and it's like, no, you want Hellboy, and that's not David Harbour. And this, I think, is a better way with this guy to just be like, you're gonna be Hellboy.
I gotta say, I love the poster, that red poster for the Crooked Man.
Yeah.
I love the poster. I think it looks. I think it looks great. I'm excited. I'm very excited for this. Did you have to? Oh, it's a rent on Amazon. Okay, cool.
I think it's free somewhere.
Budget 20 million. Budget 20 million.
Which feels insane to be like, it's low budget. But it's like at 20 million, that's low budget. But I wonder.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, a 50 million budget for the 2019 one. But yeah, no, I'm excited to talk about it. I hope you guys enjoy it. And even if not, we'll talk about it more next week.
According to Google, the 2004 one had a $66 million budget.
Jeez.
But then remember that you had I'm blanking on his name.
Guillermo del Toro.
The guy playing the fish man.
Doug Jones.
Doug Jones in a goddamn pool in a library swimming around. I'm sure that, oh, God. I think I might watch both movies this weekend. Selma Blair, anyway. So I'm excited.
All right. So until next week, we thank you for joining us on the Comrades of Cinema podcast, no longer Cinema Ministry. We're done. We cut it out. It was stupid from the beginning, and we all hated it. But Comrades of Cinema signing off. I'm Josh.
I'm Brendan, barring the name change.
And I'm Chad.
We will see you next week for Hellboy, the Crooked Man.